Thank you for being here today. And we're going to talk about multi-level group piano lessons. So I'm going to cover what is multi-level group piano, why I prefer group piano lessons, and how I teach multi-level group piano in my studio. For those of you who have never met me in one of our Facebook groups, my name is Dorla Aparicio. I've been teaching group piano for over 30 years. I also teach privately, and I teach at the university level piano pedagogy, survey of music, which is a class on world music, and music in the elementary classroom for education majors. I also have my own private studio where I teach group piano and private piano. So the questions that I get asked the most are, do we play with headphones or not? What method do you use? How do you handle progression between the different levels and ages? How do you plan your schedule? What about advanced students? How do you teach a first lesson with a beginner if you have early intermediate students there also? And which are the best group activities? I hope to be able to answer most of these questions for you today. So multi-level group piano is the same as mixed ages. I use the terms interchangeably. And you can have a group of 8 and 9-year-olds and they are at different levels. Or you can have a group of 8 to 11-year-olds and they're all at different levels. So any combination of different levels of playing the piano is multi-level group piano. As a piano teacher, my dream, of course, is for daily practice at home. The kids should have music experience in early childhood, and all the students are roughly in the same grade at school and the same piano level. And then when they come to class, I just lead them as a conductor of an orchestra. But we all know that does not happen. The reality is that not everyone has music as a child. And I mean like early childhood music. Not everyone practices during the week between lessons. And group piano participants are going to be at different skills and levels. Or even if you start them all at the same, they're going to move at a different pace. And then the role of the teacher is to teach and to make sure all the parts stay together. But here's the reason why I prefer to teach multi-level group piano. The scheduling is no longer a headache, and I can teach the same concept to many at once. And because there's a group of us together, we are making music together. So how would you begin to do this? Well, first you have to find repertoire. Duets, trios, piano ensemble pieces. And of course, my favorite is piano pyramid. Start small, once a month, getting kids together to play together. Once they're familiar with how much fun this is, and the families and their parents know how much they love it, then you can start branching out and getting individual keyboards. And then after that is established, go ahead and do your weekly scheduling and offer these classes year-round, weekly, a whole semester. Our goals as group piano teachers are the same. We are looking for the same outcome. The only difference is that we have more children in our class and our lesson planning needs to be a little more structured to be able to accommodate everything that is going on with having different students in one class. In every one of my multi-level group piano classes, there's going to be ear training, rhythm reading, note reading, and technique. These things are happening organically, which means that I don't always label what is happening. But when they listen, when they play, all of this is happening, and I need to be very careful to make sure that I label them so that if they're preparing for a test, like RCM or a state music theory test, they know that these skills that they know have specific labels. In my mind, the piano pyramid begins with a good foundation at the bottom with my prep pianist. This is where they will be learning to harmonize, keep a steady beat, focus on their music, be able to follow the music. Once this is a good foundation, they move up to pianist 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have anybody in pianist 5 in my groups. Usually when they're pianist 5, I have them in a private lesson. And that's usually when they are age 14. But they have to be able to play pianist 4 easily in order to go into private lessons. I divide my group lessons into preschool piano, ages 4 through 7, and in that preschool piano, I divide them into 3 groups. I have piano pyramid ages 8 to 11, which is what I'll be talking about today, and then piano pyramid ages 11 to 14, which they accomplish the same things as ages 8 to 11. I just separate them because they learn quicker and they like to have their own space. So what repertoire can you use? Start off with duets, trios, easy piano ensembles. They're out there. You really have to search for them. And of course, I always recommend that if you're doing multi-level, that you start with piano pyramid because it will cover the different 5 different levels that you can group together. This is a piano pyramid. Musette in D is the one that I'm going to be talking about today, and you will find that the piano pyramid pieces will mostly be the standard piano teaching repertoire with easier arrangements to complete the pyramid. So Musette in D is and I'll be showing you how the different levels come together to play that. How do you choose a level? So in your package of Piano Pyramid, you will always get this PDF that reminds you how you can separate the students into different levels. Prep pianist is a beginning pianist learning to read the notes. So they're going to play mostly by rote. Pianist 1 is comfortable playing in C major position, reading the notes. Pianist 2 is comfortable playing C, G, and D major positions, reading the notes. Pianist 3 reads all the notes on treble and bass clef. Pianist 4 reads all the notes on treble, bass, and ledger lines. And of course, there are also rhythmic requirements for each one of these levels. But you can go ahead and read those there when you get your pianist level PDF. And so we begin our class. Class always begins with listening. So if we're doing Musette in D, I have a recording that I have played previously, recorded myself previously playing, and I have that playing as I hand out the music to the students. The students all have a binder where we organize their music. There's scales. Another section has all their ensemble music, which is their piano pyramid music, or any other ensemble pieces that I've chosen. They have a section for only their solo pieces. They have a section for theory, and then also for their assignments. While I hand out the music, they are listening to the piece over and over again. As they listen, once they've put their music in their binder, I ask them to take their finger and follow the music. I have the prep piano students close to me. The pianos that they are playing in are close to me, where I can label the 2 notes that they're going to play by rote, and I can show them how to follow the music along while it's playing. Number 2, students who already are familiar with following the music begin to number the measures. That is how we can stay together once we play out loud. And number 3, if they've already done that and the music is still playing, they can put their headphones on and begin to practice. My prep pianists, as I said before, will have D and A labeled for this composition, which is Musette in D. This is the actual piece that I will give them. This is if this is their first lesson, this is what I'm going to teach them to play by rote and teach them how to follow the score. I label their keys with only a little sticky note that says D and A. Then pianist 1, they are already playing a 5-finger pattern in D major. They are also going to be playing a steady beat. They should already be very familiar with reading these notes. And it does not matter that they are playing in D major. Maybe I'll mention the key signature, maybe I won't. But because we have been learning the circle of fifths during our technique time of class, they are familiar with where to put their hands for a D major scale. So I really only need to remind them that F is sharp. Pianist 2 will be playing a little bit more of a challenge with dividing the melody between both hands. Pianist 3 will have a simplified version of the original. So you see the left hand has D. The original has octaves. So we're doing. And then pianist 4 will have the original composition exactly. There's really nothing different. It's the original piece. Then we will take a few minutes to practice on their own. Headphones go on and students are playing. And this is what you hear, silence. I go around and I listen, or I just watch them play. At this level of playing, as piano teachers, we can tell what's going on. You have that audiation going on, you know what they're doing. And you can help the prep piano students keep a steady beat and practice. And then if they have questions, you answer them at this time. So what just happened? Well, I had 6 students learn the same song. 6 students played at their own level. 6 students learned to focus on their individual parts. They felt the rhythm and they heard the harmonies and they played these notes in context, which is a big step to becoming a musician. How much time does it take for students to learn a piece? Well, just like private lessons, it depends on the student and how much time they're going to spend doing this at home. But as a rule, and to organize my semester, every 2 weeks I add a new song. So 1 week, new song, 1 week, no new song. Next week, new song. Then the third week I add a solo piece that they work on, just in case they need more to practice, or if they have not worked on the ensemble piece, they still have something to practice. They always have scales to practice. And then that fourth week, we're doing ensemble together, a mini recital in class, where we play out loud, we play for each other, we play games, we have a piano party. It will vary. My class structure is for 60 minutes, 10 minutes of scales and technique where we're playing out loud, learning the new repertoire or reviewing old repertoire for 20 minutes, combination of that. Individual practice, that's with their headphones on. If they're finished their practice before I am ready to move on, they know to work on their theory and they know to write down their assignments. And that usually takes about 15 minutes. Then we all move away from the piano and we play a music theory game. On the floor, play a board game, something that's fun, to review the theory concepts that we've learned this lesson. And then I always try to have at least 5 minutes. Sometimes we only have 2 minutes to go back to the piano and play together out loud. It will probably be chaotic, but that's okay. That's how you begin. And sometimes we only get to play 4 measures. That's all we need to do. And then every week we advance a little bit more. So, do you have any questions? And I see here on the chat that Carrie says, what keywords do you use for students? So, Carrie, I started out with very inexpensive keywords, like $100 each. Some of them were Yamaha, some of them were Casio, 61 keys. They were not touch sensitive. But I started with what I could. And about 5 years later, then I was able to move up to beautiful Roland pianos that I have now. So start small, but start. Carrie also says, how are you adapting this for online teaching? So I'm doing it just like I'm talking to you right now on Zoom. When it's time to play together, I mute everyone and I play out loud and we play together, and that's the best we can do. I am not always the leader of our playing. Sometimes they get to lead and we all try to play with them. So we are hearing this particular student play out loud and we are playing muted in our own individual worlds of Zoom. Also, I use breakout rooms for our time where we would normally use headphones. That's when I put them in breakout rooms for them to work either on theory or for me to help them individually. So that's what we can do online right now for group lessons, and adapting and hoping that this is not going to last another 4 or 5 months. Martha says, ideas, options for music games during COVID. So I found games to be a little difficult because I was doing board games with them in class, so they are used to that excitement of getting together and the competition and laughing and rolling on the floor. Yeah, we don't do any of that. So I know some teachers use escape rooms. I have not tried them yet with a group. I've only tried them with my private students. There's also, what I have tried is Pictionary. And so I tell them they have to draw a certain music symbol. Whoever draws it first and shows me on camera, that group wins a point for their team. Games with dice are also good because I send them all their own dice in their little practice pouch that they have at home. So I know that at least everyone has one dice, and then we can play different dice games, and those are fun. Easy for them to cheat, but it doesn't matter. We want to review our concepts and have a good time. Um, let's see, any other questions? Okay, there's a question here about starting group lessons. Should you start with a new class or transfer all of your students into group and just do it? So when I started group lessons many, many, many years ago, I switched everybody to group. I sent out a letter and told everybody, this is what we're going to do. Of course, I was in my 20s. I thought I had the answer for everything. And so that didn't work out. I lost over half of my students because I didn't prepare them well for that. So I would do that differently. And one way that I did it after that was new students would always join group. There was no option for private unless there were special circumstances, as in the student is advanced, preparing for college, or some type of learning disability that would not go well in a group setting. But I would always, I talk to the parents about that and we decide together what is best. All right, I think that is all the questions. Okay, somebody's asking if the music that I showed, the individual scores, if that is the music that the students get. And yes, that pianist, prep pianist, that is exactly the score that they get. And everyone has a different score. A good thing is that when they say, Miss Dorla, this is too easy, I'm ready for the next level, can I try it? I have it right there. We just put it in the binder and they can challenge themselves. I don't have to worry about changing them to another day, another class that is a different level for them. You can try it right there. So Linda, who is part of our group today listening, has already been working with Piano Pyramid. And I thank you for the vote of confidence and for the way that you have been able to incorporate these pieces in your studio. And then Takinia, also here in Texas. She uses it differently. She uses it during her 2020 class where the kids are rotating. But there's a time where they play together and they can be at different levels. You can schedule them that way, different levels, but they're working on a piece that they can all come together to play. So thank you, Kenya, also for supporting Piano Pyramid. So if you want to read more about teaching in a group setting, there's the blog, grouppianoteaching.com. Of course, it's free. The Facebook group where you probably heard about this masterclass, which is Let's Talk Group Piano. And of course, that is free. The other group that I help out with is teaching group piano to all levels. And that one is more of a general group piano class. Let's Talk Group Piano is my personal one, so I talk more about Piano Pyramid and specific things that you can do with your groups. Piano Pyramid pieces, you can purchase them at grouppianoteaching.com. And there's about, I want to say 8, I haven't counted them, pieces that you can use. Sorry about the phone ringing. And then if you want to talk to me privately about your group piano and how to set it up, and you have questions, specific questions that I do not answer in Facebook group, then you can consult with me privately, and there is a fee for that, and I would send you my calendar for you to schedule that. Thank you so much for talking with me today about group piano in a multi-level way. You know, it's fun, and I know you can do it. If you have questions, I think you know where to find me, grouppianoteaching.com or in the Facebook group. Thank you. Goodbye.